Hello, everyone! Welcome back to another exciting, action packed episode of TRI's Top Crypto 100 Review! But actually, I think the name of it is TRI Crypto
Hello,
Countdown!
everyone.
I'm not quite sure back what the name to another exciting. We're alive. Anyway, YouTube says TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review. Ben says TRI Crypto Countdown. So we got to figure out what the hell the name of this damn show is. But it's kind of funny. Week in, week out, Brian says the same thing. And then we turn it off. And then we come back and we just do exactly the same thing every week. So anyway, did make reference through the daily brief today that we would talk a bit more crypto tonight. Actually, I had my computer blow up overnight. Thanks, Microsoft. Love you. Hugs and kisses. So I was a little discombobulated through the day. Kind of a weird day for me. But if anything, looking at the market, I'm feeling like, obviously I went through quite a little bit of a downturn there following the Christmas break, which usually happens. It's actually pretty normal. And now that we're sort of into the new year in earnest, it feels as though you don't see chat on YouTube. Oh, okay. What does that mean?
I don't see. I don't know. The chat's. Oh, there it is. I guess nobody was there. Nobody was saying anything yet. I see it now.
Adam C is over there saying good evening all.
Yeah, I see it now. At first, it didn't even.
Keep in mind, there aren't that many people that watch this, right? So half the time I'm just talking to myself, right? I mean, half the reason why I have you guys in here is that I'm not just talking to myself.
You can just at least see somebody else, right?
Warm bodies, warm bodies. Speaking of which, and I haven't even really gotten into this. Let's say hello to TRI's Crypto Countdown Top 100 Crypto Review. Anyway, the show co-hosts are my right arms. And actually, these guys are great to work with. We're missing one of our arms tonight. We only have two arms tonight. But nonetheless, you heard Derek a moment ago. Hey, Derek, how's it going, Chief?
Going well. How's everything on your side?
Awesome, awesome. And we've got Ben. Actually, so we've got the mid to southeast USA covered pretty good here today. Hey, so we got Ben here tonight. How's it going, Ben?
Hey, doing great.
Oh,
Happy
awesome.
to be here.
Awesome. And it's interesting, Ben. Ben's from Florida, so he's on the call in a big hoodie and a big woolly toque. And yet he's in Florida. So I'm trying to figure this one out, trying to wrap my head around it. I thought Florida was pretty warm.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for us to have to
anyway, Ben's reporting in from the freezer. Anyway, great to talk to you guys again, both of you. Nick, unfortunately this evening, feeling a little under the weather. Best wishes, Nick. Hope you're feeling a little bit better, and get well soon. And hopefully, we'll see you on the call next week. He did actually. Nick did fill in a little bit of the spreadsheet. He's sort of been captain spreadsheet, and thank you so much, Nick, for that. I'm already getting blings now. Snowboarding JJ. Have you guys met Snowboarding JJ? This guy's a character. He's super cool. Over the top PMA. Really, really great guy. He lifted my spirits up quite a bit a week or so ago. So he says, can't hang with you tonight, but hope you all have a great show. Thanks, Snowboarding JJ. Take it easy. I've actually know what it is. It might be chemical. It might be. But, and also probably, like us people that sort of live on YouTube and are constantly talking and trying to explain things and hopefully maybe making a positive difference in your life. I'm sure it's weighing on individuals. It sure feels like it's weighing on me. And I feel like I'm on an emotional razor thin knife and little things. Things that trip me up are like I had a computer problem overnight, and one of our site OGs, man, the guy must have spent about 3 or 4 hours with me this morning, just trying to get it fixed. Didn't ask him to. It's just like he was just like, Brian, I'm here for you. And I remember through the daily brief, I was even like, wow, just overwhelmed. One thing because remember, it's kind of funny, because on the daily brief show, I was telling our audience about a gentleman. You remember my story today about Bob? I am a dicko. I don't know whether you saw it. Derek.
I heard a little bit of it.
You were there. You remember that? Anyway, I come from a world where actually most people by default are assholes. So, after my wife passed away, the one thing I really needed was to be surrounded by good people that wouldn't screw me over and hurt me more. And I was really fortunate to find it in this computer space and, within the crypto space to a certain degree. At TRI for the past, 5-10 years, been just pounding home PMA. We want positive people here. We don't want, jerks and stuff. So we've created this really nice community of just good people, good quality people, all looking out for each other. It really puts a big smile on my face. But I'm finding of late that you guys are actually... you're helping me a lot, because I seem to be carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I don't know why. I'm myself as an economist, I'm actually extremely frustrated at what the 1% has done to us here. It's not fair. Our crypto for us is kind of like our escape. It's our way to get out. And then, of course, if Kim Kardashian and those kind of people come along and sort of declare war on crypto, oh man, it makes it tough. It's challenging. But one thing I did see, which actually made me quite pleased, we've been following the January barometer closely, and I think I've talked to you guys even in this crypto show about things like the Benner cycle says that 2022-2023 is going to be tough slog. Then we had recently a really interesting study done by Larry Williams, but an old sort of market timer guy. What the hell's his name? Edwin Smith or something like that. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Anyway, he did this. Woo! All right. I guess his name is not Edwin Smith. That was my space eater telling me it was about to blow up. That's interesting because it's been just chugging along here all day, but all of a sudden it decided to wake up here. Okay, so where was I? Larry Williams. Actually, I had a great conversation. I think I've told you guys. Derek, maybe Ben, you've known this. I don't know. But Derek, I think I've told you. There's a gentleman on the site who is actually like Mr. Master Node. And I did a tour of Europe in 2018. And this gentleman here, David, and that's Chris. Chris is from Germany. But David's from Switzerland, and he put me up, and I crashed at his place in Switzerland. And he reached out to me today, and it's so bizarre how these OGs, they just are turning up out of nowhere. And he's like, yeah, I still got all my Masternode coins. This guy was Masternoding ADA before ADA was even a thing. Can you imagine how much ADA this guy has? He's been Masternoding since like 2017 ADA. What do you think? You think he's doing pretty well? I think he's doing pretty well.
He's doing all right.
So, and I even, this was a tweet that I put out back in 2018. One of the sweetest, gentlest souls I've ever met, David. He reached out to me, and we had a really long conversation today. It made me feel a lot of my OGs. That it's weird, I guess, because this is an educational site. And a lot of the people on the site are relatively new to trading. Old timers like David kind of are like, Brian, I'd come by, but you're so busy with, answering really like what's a reload zone and what is divergence and stuff like that, he already knows that stuff. So Anyway, it's just fantastic to see David again. David, if you are watching this later on, it was just so great talking to you today. And anyway, he said, if you plan to come back to Europe, you can always crash on my couch again. So I might just do that. I have to say, I'm super, super impressed with Sjord's engine firing away. And look what Sjord's engine likes. Oh, Jesus, here we go. So, the irony of dog money is basically it's done nothing for what, like 7-8 months? And, it's kind of weird. Hey, why are you so upset? This thing just doesn't want to be on today. All right, fine. Gee whiz, be that way. I'm not quite sure why my space heater is all acting up here. But anyway, but I did find it really interesting. We were actually looking at it on the site today. This, I think, is, and actually on the Daily Brief, I kind of asked everybody, quiz them. What kind of, and actually I've even talked to you guys, so let's see if both of you remember what I said in the Daily Brief today. What does that kind of look like is forming here? And it's like basically, you want to be like Mr. Technician, Technical Analysis 101. You want to get good at this, quote unquote, timing the market. This is the simplest way to keep you out of trouble because almost all markets act this way. So, do you guys remember in the Daily Brief what I was talking about when I looked at this image and I go, son of a bitch, here it comes.
Yep.
What's that?
Saucer bottom.
Yeah, very good.
Trying to
Ben, do you remember me making reference to that?
I missed that, but yeah, that's...
Can you see the saucer coming in? You see, I mean, one easy way to sort of see the saucer is it's like really steep, then a little less steep. Come on, you. Then a little less steep. And then it actually, a little less steep, and this isn't a very good version. Then eventually starts actually curling back up. Right? So, that down there. Oh, come on, you. Right.
It does take a little bit of imagination, but it.
Well, and maybe it's because I've been playing this game forever.
Yeah.
But and that's actually not a very good image. I was just kind of ad-libbing here. What I really wanted to kind of show you was something along these lines. So, if you can kind of just imagine, and I suppose, actually, I wonder what happens when we change that to a log. Well, you can see a little bit better there. So, usually this is what it takes. It takes a period where we come screaming down, right? Like if you think of this as a big bowl, saucer, right? Actually, this is an old Scottish expression. I used to have an old client. He was married to a Scot lady, and he was constantly spitting out the Scottish expressions. But that's probably something along the lines that I'm thinking here. So usually the left-hand side is just screaming down. Then we have to do this kind of saucery kind of bottoming pattern, and what it really is just slightly lower lows. And then at some point we have to stop making the lower lows, and then we start what they call climbing the wall of worry, heading up the other side. So anyway, when I saw that this morning, I was like, it makes sense. And the irony of this is that basically this thing's been basically dead now for what? What was that? That was May, right around my birthday. So where are we? We're like January now, eh? So that's about, like 7 or 8 months, just nothing. And these things always ebb and flow. Always ebb and flow. So, ironically enough, the easiest tool to use, it's probably going to go much further because the guy's like a total promoter. But the easiest sort of technical tool to use that would make sense would be the 50% rule. I don't know whether I really feel like buying this huge pattern in here. Probably prefer to wait for this thing to just sort of calm down a little bit kind of thing. But, we are getting in towards Super Bowl kind of stuff. And I do remember, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know for certain, but I think Snoop Doggy Dogg was part of this sort of Doge orgy last year, and I think he's the musical person for this this coming football game. So probably what ends up happening here, ironically enough, if I, well, actually, Derek, did you finish your level 3 exam yet, Derek? Yeah, boy.
No. I'm gonna get it done. I'm slow.
What I was gonna ask Ben this, but anyway, usually what ends up happening is we just simply have a test of like 38.2 to find out whether this is still a bear. So, that saucer bottom kind of pattern might just be up, down, something like that. That could easily happen. So, considering that there's that Super Bowl event, previous high, 38.2. I mean, if you wanted to play this, I wouldn't fault you. I really wouldn't. And it's super, super cool that all our technical analysis engine does, especially with regard to these screeners, is it just simply says, show me assets that are putting in momentum bottoms, right, on volume momentum and price momentum. And ideally, they're at the bottom ends of ranges. And lo and behold, here comes Big Fat Doge. I thought that was interesting. There's a bunch of these names, there's a lot of kind of shitcoin names. You want to let that W come in? Sure, it's fine. A lot of these kind of names also pulled back against their original bottoms that were put in just like last month. So interesting that. And there was a couple names that I bought recently that were along those lines. There's a gentleman, of course, everybody that follows crypto follows. I think his name is Daniele, but I'm not exactly sure if it's Danny. But I think he pronounces it Daniele. Anyway, all wrapped up in that time and spell and what's the other one? There's one other thing in there.
MIM. Magic Internet Money. And
I didn't really get involved in that because, frankly, I didn't like the look of the charts, and I think that was a good idea. But he did actually mention a cell phone sort of crypto proxy recently, and this one did perk my interest. And I think I was buying it versus Bitcoins, but even if we look at it versus dollar. All right, big breakout. He was excited about it. I'm not allowed to chase. I have to throw my bids in, and I bought at 61.8, bought at 78.6, got another bid at 88.6. But as you can see, we were talking about this on the site today. It looks to me like we're stuck in a trading range right now, which is fine. It's no big deal. But my average cost, I guess, is somewhere around that 4. If we get a pop up into 8, then I'll be more than happy to sell half on a double. If it happens, awesome, great. I'm not sort of setting my heart to it. Good old Foggy Boggies, probably something like 7 1/4, right up against this trend line, jerks. They're gonna bring it up right underneath my average. If I got my 88.6 fill, then my average would be down here, and I'd be selling at that 2.618. Murphy's Law. Oh well. Anyway, W there. We'll see how it goes. That's a name that I don't mind. It's got a half decent base, and I went and picked up a bit of that on the pullback. That's the important thing you got to learn about this silly trading game. You can't chase. You got to be patient and disciplined. There's another one that I bought, Chess. Same sort of thing. This one put in just the tightest little bottom down here. It went zooming up, and our screeners actually caught this. And, same logic, not allowed to chase, so I just threw my bid in off of this original breakout W bottom, and actually I got filled the other day. So, there you go. There are actually a couple names heading into the spring season that I am buying. Don't really want to buy a hell of a lot of crypto right now. I mean, I get the impression that... I don't know. The problem here is that I've been playing this silly game for so long. As soon as I hear somebody say, oh, this time it's different, then that to me is like, Jesus, this is the same shit all over again. So I do know that there are some people in this space that have been going, this time it's different. These times we're going to $100 million. But actually, that's not the one I want to show you. Where's the one I wanted to show you? And I, like I said, I had my computer blow up today, so all my charts got all messed up. So it's going to be awfully hard for me to talk my way through all this. But you remember we were doing this stuff before. It didn't materialize. And I made reference to Kim Kardashian coming in and quashing the Bitcoin market. I don't know whether you're aware, but Kim got into kind of a shouting match with Michael Saylor on social media. Frankly speaking, I think bankers have no business whatsoever participating on social media. So it just goes to show the quality and the sort of the professionalism of our generation and how it's changing. So Mr. Kardashian needs to learn that big central bankers, they have no business jousting with the public on social media about assets. But I get the distinct impression that this gentleman, he got into kind of like a little bit of an ego match with Mr. Saylor, and I think that these central bankers, they'd like to put the kibosh, and they didn't want to let Bitcoin get out of control here. That's my general feeling here. What do I find really interesting about this? Like, maybe this doesn't play out as we're expecting, but hey, some people are saying this time it's different. I don't know whether I buy into that, but nonetheless. One thing I did notice that caught my attention was I have been for quite a while thinking that Ethereum was actually acting very much like Bitcoin did in that 1718 market. And so I just literally took the price action of that 1718 market in Bitcoin and I overlaid it with the current Ethereum chart. Gotta say, man, that looks pretty damn similar, doesn't it? I mean, we didn't have this huge spike here. It was really muted. Mind you, this is just a high and low, so I don't know whether that actually even shows the full price. But isn't that incredible how similar that is? And does that mean that Ethereum still could have that last push higher? I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on it. I still am leery about the this time it's different kind of thinking, though. And especially since we're in an environment, ironically enough, that Bitcoin has never been in before. Bitcoin has only existed in a period where the central planners have been shitting their pants about the system collapsing. And I don't think that we're in that kind of environment anymore. You listen to, one sort of tell for me is I like to follow the US dollar index closely. And one tell of that, listening to Jerome Powell here, and geez, the guy, every time he's asked about the U.S. economy is strong. It's strong. Strong like bull. And interestingly enough, I am a U.S. dollar bull, but I think this has probably gone a little too far too fast. Simple technicians would say we probably want to see a 50% retracement of any kind of move. So that's right there. And you can see, oh boy, this U.S. dollar index is breaking down, and it's breaking down hard. And usually, I mean, the way the story's been going, probably, I guess, since maybe even since the turn of the century, is if the U.S. dollar index is strong and it's racing higher, it means that the world economy is contracting and it's shrinking. If the U.S. dollar index is falling, then it means growth is relatively positive. And money is flowing into the economy, right? Think of it as almost as like the money is going back to the bank when it goes back into the U.S. dollar index. And then when it gets the green light, it's funneled out into the economy. The regular chart that I have up to explain this is way better at showing this. But I don't know whether I have it or not. Nope. Damn. Yeah, like I said, all my charts blew up last night, so I don't even have it. Anyway, normally I would show you guys kind of like this kind of thing, like money flow. Oh God, these charts are all messed up too. Damn. Oh, what a mess. Oh well. So interestingly enough, with the U.S. dollar coming off here, we should see commodity prices get bid up. We might see, hell, gold might have finally have its day in the sand, in the sun. Oh, here it is. I did save it. Yay! It's way over here. Why is it over here? I haven't got a fucking clue. But you can see, as the U.S. dollar, and keep in mind, right here is the U.S. dollar index, right? So this is a 6-hour chart. You can see over the past 12 hours, this thing's gotten absolutely smashed. Bang, 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 bang. Right, over the past week, really, and you could argue there's the end of the year, right? Well, where's the end of the year? No, right there, right? So, literally from January 1st, 2022, the U.S. dollar has just been melting down here, which theoretically should be good for growth. It should be good for the world economy. And things like the euro. You see the euro jumped up violently. Even the yen's rallying in the face of this. Imagine that. Commodity prices, theoretically, demand for commodities should be relatively strong if the U.S. dollar is weak, right? So we can see commodity demand is fairly strong. Stocks actually are feeling pretty good here with the U.S. dollar. Crypto, actually, basic. This is the kick in the pants because our screening system said. At the end of and the funny thing is I even totally predicted this because I said that OK Coin was going to come along and shit on the crypto market right on Christmas because that's what they always do. And sure enough, look at that, December 26th, get the fuck out. Boom. It took a little while to trickle over to altcoins, but boom, they started to come off in earnest. But look what's happening now. Isn't that interesting? Couple this, this is a risk on, but with, of course, stocks feeling pretty uppy here. Looks like I see a bunch of W's all coming in there. The crude oil is another sort of risk on proxy. Jesus, this thing's just on fire here now. Hell, it's even spilling over into the gold and the silver. And one market that I absolutely love right now, and all you crypto specialists, how do we figure out what the hell a copper proxy in cryptocurrencies look like? Because I love copper right now. One of my favorite stocks I keep touting to the site, but nobody wants to buy it, is a Canadian copper company called Capstone. There it is. Look at that chart. Boom! That's strong like bull. So I don't know what the hell's going on in the copper industry, but that chart's pointing up, and I like that. And that's a nice bullish bot. Brian's trend continuation trade. Also, too, can you find me a lumber cryptocurrency? I don't even know if that even exists. But this is my favorite lumber stock in the stock market. Again, hopefully you see my bullish bot. Now, one good thing for crypto is what would be something that's absolutely critical in going into cryptocurrencies? And you guys already know the answer to this. So, without giving the public the answer, what would be some hints that you would give? What goes into a stock that I like, and I've talked about it a lot on the site. Maybe you guys haven't caught on, but a stock I absolutely love on the site, and even the dashboard, right? The ETF summary, the basic site subscription. Everybody who subscribes to our basic site membership gets access to all our daily briefs and access to the basic model. And what's this thing we've been talking about? It's the strongest fucking ETF in the entire world. I hope you guys remember what this is. Ben? Quickly on your laptop right beside, just Google EWT. Just say something so I don't look like an idiot.
I mean, energy web tokens coming to mind, but let's see.
I was thinking more like I was thinking in chips, but I don't know.
Hey, there you go.
Taiwan. There we go.
There's also
Taiwan Semiconductor.
Yeah, is there something that cryptocurrencies kind of absolutely have to have, or it just doesn't? Semiconductors, right? Yep. Chips. Mm-hmm. No graphics cards, and this whole story dies really quickly, right?
Yeah, pretty quick. It's a done deal.
So interesting how cryptocurrencies are as hot as they are, and we've been talking on the site about Taiwan itself. I think is definitely a political football right now. But just like you saw, my favorite stocks, and of course Brian's bot setup, it's what got me funded as a prop trader. It works really well. So we happened to pull up Taiwan Semiconductor. There it is, number 1. Do you think there's a bullish bot working here? You tell me. Boom! You can see, off to the races she goes.
I was taking a look. There's also one on SMH. It's the ETF.
Oh, even bigger. Oh, SMH. In fact, whenever you... Oh, man, not quite. But whenever you mention SMH, I always think of Ronnie Backman. Do you remember my story about Ronnie Backman?
No, I don't remember that one.
He's my Swedish... he's, my favorite... What's my favorite gold stock in the world? I'm like acting like these people actually know any of this shit that I'm barking out to them. Obviously, nobody listens to me anymore. What's the one gold stock I always talk about in the show?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Why are you doing this to us? Anyway, Agnico Eagle.
No,
that doesn't sound familiar at all?
No.
AEM? I always make reference. If I'm ever looking at gold stocks, I always look at Agnico Eagle. And actually, it trades both in the NYSE and Canada. Anyway, so that's Ronnie Backman's stock. And so Ron used to always trade between gold and SMH. It was either one or the other. I'm either long or short. Or he'd be like, because SMH is, they always say, and if you don't know this, semiconductors are the ultimate leading indicator of our economy. No ifs, ands, or buts. So SMH is the most ultimate leading indicator of what our economy is going to do. So, what do you think? Is the economy pointing up? Doesn't look like it's pointing down. It's a bit sideways here from these guys, because they're probably like... they can include things like Intel. I was pounding the table about Intel a month or two ago. Why did I not do anything? I had no idea. Do you guys remember how I was going on and on about Intel? Fuck, it's so cheap. Why is it so cheap, Anyway, there it goes. But probably more importantly is AMD still the leadership play here? And I don't know, that's looking kind of heavy there. And then NVDA. Is NVIDIA still the leadership play? Yeah, it's looking a bit heavy there. So, anyway, if you want to write that down, it's a great rule. Semiconductors are the ultimate leading indicator in the economy. But what I would simply say, if anything, this makes more sense. NVIDIA and AMD, did they look uppy? I mean, let's go back and look at that again. NVIDIA. What letter of the alphabet do you see there? Maybe I'll change that to a line chart. What letter of the alphabet are we seeing there?
Oh, there's definitely an M there.
There's M's all over the place. Eh?
Yeah.
M,
and a big M.
And I don't even see any W's. Like every potential W has a lower right hand low, eh? So that's not bullish. How about AMD? Had a potential W that came in that just got smashed after an M, eh? Actually, this is a really, really good example. A lot of guys in the market, they're just going to follow the chalk marks. They'll buy there, and they'll get the fuck out of there, and they might even go short there. So you might have somebody who said, oh yeah, I bought AMD, and then a week later you bump into them on the street and you go, hey, how's that AMD trade going? Oh, actually I'm short now. So they're just flipping back and forth. They're just following the chalk marks. Anyway, what I would just simply say there is, does that look bullish or does it look bearish? And then what's going on in the U.S. market? This isn't a bad backdrop for you to understand actually the context of what's going on in crypto right now. Because to a certain degree, I think a lot of that is what's going on in the market. So what I like to look at is... no, yes, no, up, down, in, out. There we are. Spent a lot of time in the Daily Brief, and actually David did a write-up of the Daily Brief video today, and I think he's even sending it out to people for free. So if you want to check that out, feel free. But this is a really good study. Give you an idea of what the heck's going to go on in sort of, and especially here in North America, obviously Dow Jones Industrial Average. Gives you a pretty good idea. Actually, it doesn't say the Dow on there, does it? Anyway, this is the study of the Dow. And it's just basically every year that ends in this particular year, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, just average together. And that's, I think, our roadmap. And if you think about the political situation in the United States of America right now, this makes perfect sense. Central bankers do not want to be the headline conversation on election night. So they're going to go ahead. They're going to try and put the kibosh on inflation now, maybe even raise rates. Who knows? But by the time we get to election day, the Fed's going to want to be off the table, backing away. You decide, you vote wherever your heart leads you, and don't make the Fed part of your decision. So that's what I think's going on here. Is they're front jacking the inflation conversation. So anything that's in North America, and obviously, Western Europe highly tied to North American market, and Canada, of course, is the U.S.'s bitch. So we're obviously very closely tied to that. We're going to follow this path. So I've been telling a lot of people that. But people over in China, do you think they give a shit about U.S. election? I don't think so. So it doesn't surprise me when we actually look at the leaderboard here and we see things like this is Taiwan is the strongest sector. This is Malaysia. Interesting. I think this is Japan, isn't it? Yeah, Wisdom Tree Japan hedge fund. So clearly Asia is enjoying a really nice sort of wind at its back. If anything, what's the one cryptocurrency that should do well in this environment is my Mona coin. The little kitty coin. Doge is the dog. Mona, she's the cat. And she's from in Japan. They love Mona coin. I don't know where to show you that. So, if anything, and I also noticed too, did you guys notice recently that KuCoin is getting quite a bit of action? I wonder whether you guys saw that or not. What is it? Isn't it called Crypto Gecko or something like that?
CoinGecko?
CoinGecko, is that what it is?
Are you looking for the where you can? It's almost like a
They're free coins. They just give them to you for free.
Oh, I thought you were looking up CoinGecko. Is
I'm being stupid.
CoinGecko is where you can look up different coins, right?
Ben, you said there was a site that I could just go to and they just give you cryptocurrencies for free, right?
They do have them. You got to put in your private key to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're all over YouTube, yeah.
And it's gone. Anyway, I'm a fan of Mona. Mona never got going, but Mona was, and actually that's the what I want to show you was the little icon of Mona. Oh, you can't even see it. Anyway, Mona is supposed to be the kitty. Right? So there's a kitty. So in Japan they love the kitties, right? Hello Kitty and all that shit. So anyway, maybe we're gonna see something finally out of Mona. And actually, I don't know what the chart looks like. Man, that's not bad. Let's see, a year. Oh, it's not bad. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Let's go. Oh darn it! I hate when I screw these things up. All right. So, you know, actually kind of breaking the new lows. That's not really too optimistic. Cheap, but no, I don't think there's a bottom there yet. So, anyway, there goes that theory out the window. But what I will say is, gee whiz, Japan, Asia, they're catching a lot of fucking bid here. And I think EWU, I think that's the UK, and I think EPI, I think that's Spain. So that'd be interesting. UK, yep. So United Kingdom's doing well. Good growth story. It just looks like the whole damn market wants to lift here. EPI, I think, what's this? India. Oh, wow, that's fascinating. I did not expect to see that. I thought I heard that India was going through some funny stuff with that Foxconn and Apple. Anyway, I do know that in India they passed some legislation there a year or two ago. The farmers, of course, were all up in arms. But I think they're trying to get India sort of into the 21st century. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled there. I personally, I don't know whether I'm really too excited about India. Sure has been a one-way market, though, here for the past few weeks. Just look at that, straight up. So, I get the feeling that the market is sort of firming up here a bit. You can even see the S&P 500 breadth is trying to turn back up here. And then, I've often said this, is I believe crypto is a leading indicator. And I thought it was very interesting to see that actually our top 30 crypto breadth indicator actually is spitting out a buy signal there. And what's so cool is, our sort of marketing department, if you will, they're picking up on this pretty quick. So Joshua's already pointed out that the breadth indicator, the crypto top 30 breadth indicator, painted just the most beautiful sell signal right when the market broke there, right on Christmas. Exactly what I thought was going to happen. And then what's fascinating is and I even woke up this morning and I saw Josh was out there already on top of this saying, yeah, you better pay attention. Something's happening here. It's so cool. I mean, that right there, that's worth the price of a subscription alone, if you ask me. But my whole job will be to show you over the next year how you cannot live without this indicator. And my personal goal is to make this basically industry standard. Sjord's worked we've worked for 4 years on bringing this to market. So I'm just so over the top pleased that we're finally here. So super excited. And as I said, it's actually spitting out a buy signal. And when I went through the screeners this morning, I have a bunch of sort of default screeners that I like to use. I built them over the years. Just simple momentum push on volume. Anytime you have volume breakouts, it's always a pretty bullish sign. And we have a crypto section in here. And lo and behold, where is the crypto section? There we are. We got a bunch of numbers, or a bunch of names all spitting up here. Buy. And I thought it was fascinating, Doge, of all names. Now, the momentum push, right? If we get a big downside momentum push, these things might break down tomorrow. So what I suggest people do is just, use this as a reference list and then go to your particular setups that are in your trading plan. And, of course, employ your risk management strategies that are outlined in your plan because they reflect the investor that you are, i.e. are you. And actually, this is another great anecdote here where Josh, he got one guy, and I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he got one actor, and he get a whole bunch of facial expressions from this one guy. What's this guy's name again? Can't remember. Do you guys remember what's his name?
Yeah, I mean I've seen him before, but I don't know his name.
I know, it's totally slipped my mind.
Willem Dafoe.
Hey, there you go. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Yeah.
But this is fantastic. I mean, he basically nailed all the different type of risk takers all in one phase. And I can tell you, I've lived all these lives. You guys all thought you were little old ladies, but I don't think you are little old ladies, because when we go into a bear market, Little old lady's out playing canasta. She's not really too concerned. I think actually most of you, and myself included, were Joe Sixpacks. And that's the way it was in my client base. Most of people are Joe Sixpacks. Margin traders? Yeah, these guys kind of break the rules a little bit. William Defoe, thank you. Is that what you guys said? William Defoe? Is that what you said? That? Yeah. Somebody said that over there on YouTube. Anyway. And then there's the derivative degens, right? And you can almost see the look in their eyes. They're a little unhinged. And it's so cool because my old prop firm, Top Step, they do a video call first thing in the morning, and I'm encouraging everybody to go back over, and we're just, right before the opening bell in the futures pits, we're just making a habit. Everybody show up and crash Top Step's morning call with Johnny Hoagland. And you could get to learn what derivatives traders are like the real ones on the floor of the exchange. Bob Iamadico, that's another one of these guys. So I thought this is fantastic. But the point here is the screeners are going to give you ideas. How you actually incorporate the actual trade idea into your trading plan, well, that's up to you. And that's entirely up to finding out what type of setups you like to use. Are you a volume person? Are you a price momentum person? Are you a volatility person? I always suggest 3-step setup, location, indicator confirmation, price structure, go. That never changes. But, the amount of money that you're going to put to risk relative to the overall size of your portfolio into any one name, that's where Mr. Defoe comes in, and how are you going to act given the different scenarios. And these are all this is so important. It's such an important part of the entire trading process, and yet nobody likes to talk about this. Everybody loves to talk about squiggly lines. Everybody loves to talk about devs, and everybody loves to talk about the next best thing since sliced bread coming along here. You got to buy this thing, it'll make you rich. But nobody likes to talk about risk management. So, if anything, this is the one great thing that makes GRI so awesome. And I think it's actually one of the main reasons why people like this place so much, is because we get rid of the fluff. And just break it down. Don't bullshit yourself. Just be honest with yourself. And if you are a little old lady, you can make lots of money as a little old lady, but just don't bullshit yourself. And for God's sakes, if you're a little old lady, don't come across saying that you're some sort of 100x margin leverage trader, because that's just asking for trouble. Anyway. Oh, goodness. Man, Brian sure is full of hot air tonight. Where should we go next?
We do have some requests for some.
Okay, yeah. Why don't we do that? I guess we've talked lots. One thing I wanted to mention, and I don't quite understand this, is this is Danny's time name, right? And have we done the chart correctly here? Does that look like how Nick would have us do it? 1 over.
Yeah, but that's the equation I got from him last time when we took a look at it. Because it's
yeah, you posted this in the Daily Brief this morning, didn't you, Derek?
Yeah, because it's against I guess on the AVAX and USD. Yeah. So it's I don't know if there's there's probably another chart out there somewhere, but I'm not sure how to find it.
So before we go ahead, I just want to take a quick boo at this. You can see we did quite a bit of breakdown here in the Daily Brief today on this time. So we don't necessarily need to go into this, but if you want to, if you're watching this tomorrow or the next day and you're like, hey, I wouldn't mind just sort of doing that, pop on the site, do the 30-day trial thing. Won't even cost you anything, and you can watch the summary and get sort of an idea of how I look at the market. So I thought this was a pretty good example. But since we did do it in the Daily Brief today, we don't necessarily need to go back and do this again. I don't really mind. We could spend a night. You know what we need to do before we get into that? Let's just take a quick boo at this. So first off, now how does Nick do this? He just he picks a price, right? So
we probably should have recorded the price at the beginning of the show, but it was.
What time is it? That was about an hour ago, eh?
Yeah. So
why don't we'll take our Bitcoin price chart. We'll go 1 hour ago. So let's be generous. We'll say this one here. Because I think we're actually going to print a new candle bar, aren't we? It's actually, I think, an hour ago, and it really hasn't moved in the past hour, has it? Right, because that was 1 hour ago, and this is 1 full hour, and we're right at the top of the hour. We're going to print a new candle here. So why don't we go with this number here? I mean, it works. 43,575. 40. So that's this one. Is today the 12th? Oh, it is. So, I shouldn't have done that. Now, how does he put this in here? Do we go 43,575? Like that? I guess that's right, eh? So, who's the big winner here?
Well, it's actually a $75 dip up, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's not bad. That's to say that basically unchanged, it looks like Ben and I.
Yeah, I was -1. I was hoping for a little bit less.
You suck, man. I'm just kidding.
Not that bad. Not that bad.
It's if anything, it makes sense. The market was not going to go up. If Nick said that it was going to go up. Hey, where'd Ben go? Wasn't Ben just here a second ago? Did he leave? Oh, there he is. Oh, whoa, he's back. All right, so Ben, way to go! Nice call, dude. Do we wanna wait till the end to do our sort of predictions for next week? Is that how we do this?
Yeah, let's wait to the end.
Okay, so
Sure.
big hats off to Ben and Brian and Derek. Get back to work, and Nick. Way to go, Nick. I'm just kidding. Kind of fun. I mean, like I said, it'd be interesting at the end of all this, if there ever is an end, for us just to sort of see how we did relative to our picks over time. See if there's any validity to being market predictors. Okay, so we did that. Ben's, and actually we talked a little bit about this before the video got going. What should we do with this? Maybe this would be a good opportunity for you guys to leave comments. What should we do with this? Should we fill it out some more? Should we add more functions? How could we really make this a really super awesome little app that we could actually encourage people to use and refer to? Ben did quite a bit of work on this to get going. Super pleased. And I've just been wondering, how do we leverage this? How do we get the most out of this? So, not only did I ask Ben and Derek here tonight for some thinking, Nick, by all means, if you have suggestions, but you out there watching, there's about 20, 30 of you watching this. What are some of your ways that you might suggest us use this and leverage this? Okay, now let's get on to those sort of public picks that you said that they were doing. Now, where do we want to do this? Because we can't. It was awfully difficult to look at this kind of DeFi stuff on TradingView, eh?
Yeah, I think some of these names are pretty general though.
Okay.
So like Link, Link, and then the Graft.
Okay.
Are the first two.
Why don't we tell you what? As we go through, we'll add charts. So the first one you said Link, and God, we've been watching Link for a while now, haven't we? I think we looked at this like every week.
Yeah, Link's seems like it's been one of the stronger cryptos. It's sort of sold off a little bit, so it's.
Remember where we looked at this before? Yeah, I think I seem to remember we went through this. We couldn't figure out which one was the best one to look at. Hey, I was quite pleased to hear that my country has made peace with Binance. So I was actually able to go in and buy something on Binance there the other day. I felt confident that I could log back into there without having my big brother shit all over me. I'm surprised they still haven't let you go. Well, there's like a Binance US, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there is sort of a Binance for you guys.
Yeah, they're slowly adding coins.
It's
definitely not what it used to be.
Yeah, I would say a lot less crypto there.
All right, so where would you guys suggest we look at this? In fact, you know, I gotta fill up my beverage. I want you guys to think about that. Then when I come back, give me an answer.
So that app, can you actually download that, or is that this
Yeah.
Okay, so you could actually.
Yeah. I don't know if we've got a link in the description, but maybe that's something we can do. We'll just add it to the YouTube description, and it just mirrors a spreadsheet. So if there's some information that is maybe on Brian's master spreadsheet that we can port over there, if people see anything, or if there's anything that they want, just let us know, and we'll get it happening.
What's the verdict, gentlemen?
Coinbase. How does that sound?
Coinbase? And do we want to look at it versus US dollar?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there wasn't any request necessarily, so I guess that's good. Assuming they have enough.
You remember we did the GAN angles on this recently, eh? That was kind of fun. Let's see what we got here. You know what this looks like? Doesn't this kind of look like it's a triangle that's about halfway done? See that? So usually they say these things resolve about 2/3 the apex. So we can go like that. Who's got a calculator? What is 2/3 of 500?
330.
How much? Sorry?
330?
330. Zoom. So that is right in there. So my hunch is this thing's going to break out of this triangle probably somewhere right around early April. Somewhere in there. So, and if anything, this makes perfect sense. If the market did rally up to this downline here, can we buy that breakout there? Are we allowed to do that? You know, all you people on YouTube should know that. Hey, there's Chris over there, Chris Blue. He's saying BAL. Is that another request? I guess so. We'll look at that later on, Chris. I think I got killed on that BAL, if I'm not mistaken. Where was that one? Oh, we'll look at it in a bit. You're getting distracted. Shiny object. So we're not allowed to take a trade on that move there. And frankly speaking, since it rallied all the way there, coming in on the buy side here, oh boy, that's very, very risky. So, you know, is there a letter of the alphabet that we kind of like to focus in on? You know, rhetorical question by now, hopefully. But if you just simply wanted to force yourself not to chase, I always say just throw on a fib off of whatever the recent rally is, and then 61.8 to 78.6, we call that the reload zone. Maybe a guy bought here, sold here, and then he wants to reload. Right? So this is the zone he's going to do it in. And the good part about this one is, gee whiz. So you got this big W, down, up, down, breakout. That was confirmed right there. W's are pretty good. Also have this one, down, up, down, breakout. More W's. Yummy. The traders trade, and I don't know whether you can get yourself to this. Even, you know, like people that come to TRI to learn how to trade, we tell them right out of the gate, you know, you won't even know this job until you've done it for 1 full year. Are you good at it after 1 full year? Probably not. But at least now you know what the fucking job is. And, you know, they say it takes a good like 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. So could that take a few years of practice to be able to just sort of see this? Hopefully all of you look at this and, maybe a year from now you'll see it. But you look and you go, holy Jesus, look at this. Down, up, down, breakout. That's a W. And then it did it again. Down, up, down, breakout. That's a W. And then, and this is the trader's trade. Notice the W's, the rally. Market zooms up here. Are we allowed to chase this up here? No. Draw your reload zone. And this is like the trader's trade. You see that the market dipped right into that original buy zone and, fills all in here. You look like a genius. It's just straight down, straight back up. Like, if you can force yourself to throw in bids down here, the problem is getting your fill down here. Everybody and their brother is going to be like jumping out the window. Oh, it's a bear. Oh, it's going to zero. So, in fact, I just did this trade. Right? This is what the hell is that damn thing I just bought? You can see how engaged I am with this stuff.
Chess. Was that the chess?
I want to say shit, but I don't think that's chess, right?
That was chess, I think you were talking about.
Why do I keep thinking shit? Probably shitcoin, right? But that was basically, I think I did it versus BTC. Oh, look at that. It's turning back up. Fucking A. So that, and I think I mentioned this earlier, right? That there's the W, there's the breakout. You're not allowed to chase. You got to throw your bid in down the bottom. And this is basically where I got filled the other day. It's like 3,900 and 400, 940 something or something right down in there. Can you get to the point where you can work these kind of bids? Well, I mean, I can't trade that for you. You got to be in the position where you're comfortable enough to throw that bid in and live with the results. And if we break, the interesting thing about this is I actually don't have a problem even buying more down here. Why? Because this isn't actually the bottom. The bottom is really over here. So, if anything, I would expect them to fuck around with these lows. And I don't mind. I'll just accumulate. You can look at the Bitcoin chart. Same thing. It's almost identical trade. So, just take a screenshot of this and you're like, you could literally take a screenshot of this, post it on the wall beside your computer and say, I will only buy when the chart looks like this. And it's shocking how often this happens. There's the original bottom. Boom. There's the reload zone. Here is that killer trade window. It's the same thing. It's identical. Can you step in here and work bids to buy? I love 78.6. Hell, we had a guy on the site who used to actually run these videos for us. Just the sweetest guy in the world. He's going to be very, very wealthy if he just sticks to it and just keeps doing the same thing day in, day out. And he actually stepped in and he bought that 88.6 there. It's the same thing. It's like nothing changes. So, and I showed you that Cello chart, same sort of thing. So, you want to know where the buy on link is? Well, it's not rocket science what we do. The only problem is when these levels do come in, can you act? I don't know. That's up to you, and that's all about human emotion. And probably, I would say about 70 to 80% of our time and effort is spent. In fact, you know what? I'm going to show you something that will give you a pretty clear idea of what our life is like as traders. I used to work with a guy, Dr. What the hell was his name? Dr. Barry Gordon. And he would always, his famous trader, psychologist dude. And he would always come in every single start presentation. I always say the same damn thing. You are all so smart. You're just geniuses. You're great people. You're fantastic. You have the most brilliant minds. But you suck. Hey, can you imagine? You're paying somebody. You go to pay for a course, and the guy starts off. He looks you right in the eye, and he goes, "You suck, horse cocks."
Yeah, a punch in the gut right there. Off the start.
Oh, thanks, doctor. So, is this good medicine or bad medicine? Like, what are you giving me? But he used to always start off, and I went through about 3 of his presentations. It's always the same. And it was just so demoralizing right at the beginning. But the point is so his whole argument was that, you might have really good ideas, but what actually ends up killing most traders is mistakes. So, one of the tools that we teach in our school program, there's a bunch of tools that we have to try and keep you, honest and try and make you better, is things like the Demon Finder. Notice there's a lot of ways to screw this up. You might have, somebody might call you up and say, hey, this link, there's the next best thing since sliced bread, man. You better buy some of this. And you might, I got my money in line. I've got the account set up. All right, I've got it. And then there's so many different ways you can screw this up. And so that's the point of this. And, the irony of it all is that, we're called discretionary traders. But by definition, we're not supposed to trade at our discretion. It's actually extremely dangerous. So half of our job is we got to get rid of all the mistakes and all the different ways you can mess this up. And I'm telling you, ironically enough, a good trade, it actually looks stunningly similar. Every time you go over the charts, it's always the same damn thing. There's a W that formed, the market rallied, it pulled back into the reload zone, it gave you the opportunity to get in, and then the damn thing takes off like a fucking rocket. It's just ridiculous how cliche this is. So, you should look at this, and any of you aspiring traders should look at this and go, okay, screenshot, I only buy assets, and really, you could do the replay function and just say, I only buy assets when they look like that. It's just that simple. Will any of you do that? I doubt it. But I'm telling you, it's just that simple. What the fuck? How do you know? All right, A, B, C, T, O, Z. I don't know anything. If anything, and you guys maybe affirm this for me. On this site, do I come across as a guy who's sort of like a know-it-all? Or do I come across as a guy who says, I don't know a hell of a lot. All I know is M's and W's. I mean, maybe I'm setting myself up. Here you go. You guys can really lay into me now. Go for it.
I would say it's M's and W's. Starts off as M's and W's, but as you I don't know, gain experience, learn the market.
And that's the irony of it all, is that actually the more you think at this business, the worse you do. Mm. So I would argue try and keep it as simple as possible. Figure out what those 3 reasons are. Like I teach everybody on the site, 2 setups that I just love. The L Tangonator, which is really just a bastardization of a setup that I learned like 30 years ago. And my bot, my trend continuation trade, like you saw with the lumber and the copper and Taiwan Semiconductor and all that. So this would fall under that L Tangonator kind of thinking. Why? Because we're coming in at the bottom end of range, and really your technical objective on a trade like this should probably be things like 50% rules. So what you really want to try and do in this scenario is I'm at the bottom end of the range, and maybe I'll ask the panel here. Let's see if you guys know. What? Richie says, I think he was referring to the sucking somethings reference. Okay. So what do we want to see? Now that we're down at the bottom end of the range, what do we want to see down here? Come on, panel. Do it for me, panel. Make me look good.
I want to see W's. I want to see some divergence.
Divergence! That's what I was looking for, right? 3-step setup. Location, indicator confirmation, price structure. Is that not a divergence? Look at that MACD. That's pretty. Yeah, this is like textbook, really. So a lot of people make this mistake. If we go down, we go up, then we go up, and then we go, oh, and you can see it kind of went up here, and then it went, oh, I don't know, do I really want to break out? A lot of people will make the mistake at this point and say that is a confirmed divergence, which it is not. Because this could have very easily gone up and then M'd out and down we go. Could have easily done that. But it didn't. It went poof through the middle part, confirmed divergence. And we can even put a nice vertical line. You want to do this, you can say, as soon as we get above this high, and it's a low, but it's minus 27898. As soon as we get above that number, we got our divergence. So 28 no, 29 no, 243 no, 30 no, 13 boom. Whoops, I want a vertical. Boom. One confirmed bullish divergence. We already have trade location at or below reload zone. What do we want to look for now?
Structure.
Structure from Ben. Awesome. And can you see? Down, up, down, up, down, up. Ooh. Now when you see this W here, you should go, actually, this wasn't that hard of a trade to take. We already had location. So at this point, this is like the beginning of December. You could say, all right, Link is now officially buyable. It doesn't mean it's a buy, but it means that it's buyable. And then, oh boy, here comes, wait for that bullish divergence. That Beamish guy, gotta have that goddamn MACD histogram divergence. As of the 12th of December, that's what, 2 weeks later? We now have a confirmed bullish divergence. You had to just sit there for like, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks? Patience. And what's the other word that we have to exercise here, folks? We don't need the panel to say this word. I want to see everybody on YouTube write this. We had to have patience to wait for trade location. Patience to wait for the divergence to confirm itself. What's the other word that goes with that? Patience and what? This might not be a bad idea. You want to throw in the comments later on. Show me that you're listening, that you're learning. What is that other word that we must exercise? Thank you, Derek. I already knew both of you would get it. I don't know, Ben, were you thinking that way as well? I hope so. But, okay, well, he's nodding his head. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah. Very good. One person over on YouTube. Thank you, Adam. Adam actually is that Adam? Were we? No, Bob. 2 words. All traders must exercise patience and discipline. And here, the discipline to wait for reload zone. The discipline to wait for the confirmed divergence. And now finally, what's the third thing that we go? How does this 3-step go? Patience and discipline. The third component that we want to frame the trade, and actually it frames the risk, price structure. And ideally, it doesn't always work this way, but ideally when you have these W's come in place like this, down, up, down, up, down, up, what this is really saying, and this is such a really important concept. What is the job of technical analysis? And most people don't understand why you even use technical analysis. why you would even do technical analysis. Most people say, if you ask like Joe Sixpack Public, what is the purpose of technical analysis? They'll say things like, oh, to tell you when to buy. That's not true. That's actually utterly false. Do you guys know? I'd be curious whether you guys know. What is the point of technical analysis? Well, it looks like I stumped them, eh? Any thoughts, Derek?
I was going to say the opposite of what you just said.
What's that?
I mean, to me, it keeps you out of trouble. Or it gives you...
Okay. The point here is that if we have a technically unappealing idea, do you buy it?
No.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's that patience and discipline stuff, right? I mean, hopefully you don't. There's a lot of people, and it sucks horsecocks. There's a lot of people that will watch CNBC, and when I was a broker, man, it used to happen all the fucking time. Watch, CNBC or even, these crazy YouTube people. Like that German guy. Oh, my goodness. And as a broker, of course, I had no choice, right? I was supposed to exercise their orders. I was basically their agent in the marketplace. So I would listen to them. I would look at the price chart and I would say, are you sure you want to do this? But hey, Bob, I am a dicko, says this thing's going to the moon. Are you sure? Is Bob maybe taking the other side of the trade? You got to be careful with Bob. He has that name for a reason. But what's the point of technical analysis? And the whole purpose of technical analysis is to frame risk. It's to be able to identify those windows where you can see very clearly an entry, but more importantly, you have very clear evidence to tell you that your thinking about the marketplace was wrong. And it's a relatively finite window. And then there's, of course, the argument that TA just gets you the chicks. There's that too, okay? So, J-Force, you are right. So
the more lines and colors on your chart, the better.
Yeah. J-Lo booty bottoms and the whole thing, right? But believe it or not, and that is so hard to get across to people. The point of TA is to identify that, hey, I'm not going to come in and buy a risky asset that if I buy here, look at what happens. Boom! The market goes exactly the wrong direction. And am I wrong now? 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 When do I find out that I'm wrong? Am I wrong now? Am I wrong now? Am I wrong now? That's the whole point of TA, is to try and identify these windows where, hey, I can see really clearly there is a window here. That is an acceptable risk window. I'm going to buy there, and if the market goes below this level, I'm proved wrong. Finite risk window. That's the whole point of technical analysis. It's the whole fucking point. Anyway, I heard a guy, I guess maybe about a year or so ago, go on about this, and it just rung so true. I mean, he just nailed it. It was absolutely perfect, and I just, as soon as I heard that, I was like, of course, and ever since I've heard that other gentleman, and I can't remember where I heard that specifically, but ever since I heard that, I was like, that's the message that I have to try and get across to people. Because most people go, oh, technical analysis, that's to tell you when to buy. Well, not really. I mean, fuck, you can buy anything anywhere. I mean, technically, if you're a little old lady, you can buy anything anywhere, right? You're never going to sell. So what the hell's the point of TA? Well, we want to try and identify these windows where we could maybe put a little bit more money to work, where we could take a bit of risk, where we could say, you know what, I'm going to risk 10% of my whatever I'm going to throw in here, and I'll do a little bit of leverage, right? And I've got a window that says location, market should try and bottom here. I've got indicator confirmation, price is actually stronger than what price is leading you to believe. I've got a relatively tight window. Third step, hunt the W's. I can frame risk very nicely on this. That's the whole point of TA. So, I mean, the problem here right now is, what do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you that, okay, you know, you missed the trade. It's okay to go and buy there. Well, it's not. You know, if we use that same logic, then technically, if I buy right there, that's now my risk window. And we say in trading, well, how do I say this? You're not going to be right 100% of the time when trading. Just get used to that. It just is a simple fact of life. We could have very easily come back down here and you would have to say, I'm wrong, just get me the fuck out. So, if we know that that's a very realistic possibility, and this is why most people who trade fail at this, is that they cannot get out here, and this one trade could turn, they just can't get out. They can't make that decision that I have to manage risk and just cut my loss. And they might have to ride this thing right down into zero. And if they put a substantial portion of their portfolio into that, it could be their last trade that they ever do. Yeah, I've seen it happen before. So, can I come in here and take that kind of risk there? I would say no, because really the same risk parameters that this person is working with, that's the same risk level. Nothing's changed there. So if that's the case, then if I know that there's a pretty good, there is a statistical possibility that I'm going to get stopped out here, what do I have to do if I'm proved right? And this is actually the key to whether you survive as a trader or not in this world. As I said, 95% of the people in this world cannot do this job. So don't beat yourself up if you can't do this. But if I am going to take this risk, well, actually, maybe I should leave those on there. If I am going to take this risk, what do I have to make absolutely damn certain? If I'm right, what has to happen here? You guys know where I'm going with this, right? What has to happen?
There has to be some reward, right?
I got to get paid.
Yeah.
So what's this sort of benchmark that we would use to sort of, is this a realistic risk to take? Given the amount of money that we have to risk, we already know what the risk is. What is there some sort of ratio or some sort of number or something that we want to work with, that if we are right, we're going to get paid substantially more than if we're wrong? You guys know the answer to this.
2 to 1.
All right. So if you notice how small the risk window is here, what's the point of TA? It's 34%. So the point here is I have a very well-defined risk window, and by definition then I can come up with a pretty good 2 to 1 risk reward. Maybe we'll even risk to a break of those lows. So if I'm going to buy the W there, then that means I'm going to be shooting for 2 to 1. Now, judging by what you see here, why do you think price stopped going up there and actually started coming back down?
Because somebody did exactly what you just said. A lot of people, or people with money, institutionals, right? Do that.
Well, that's the irony of it all, right? Is that I'm actually trying to get all of you public to become institutions. I mean, that's the irony of all of this. And you guys are going to hate me for that. The people that you hate, the banksters, right? I used to be a fucking derivatives trader for this Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. I was one of those guys that you all hate. Which is so funny. But do you think this is an accident? You watched me draw this out. And gee whiz, there's the 50. Didn't we say something like we were going to use the 50% rule as our profit objective here?
Yep.
What do you think, Ben? Do you think you could do something like that? Is that asking too much? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. So we got to get Ben to the point of seeing these W's and seeing these 50% rules with trade location, with confirmed divergence, and you're just at the point where, either you buy the W here, which is fine, or you let the market zip up to confirm the W and you throw your stink bid in to buy this. Now, let's see. Actually, let's poll the YouTube audience. Is there a name that we've given this event? Hint, hint, hint. If I ask a question like that, the answer is probably yes. Where you're going to be looking specifically for a something check. Wasn't this gonna be an NFT, Derek? I seem to remember you said that this was gonna be an NFT at some point.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea.
Brian's an undercover bankster. You know what I am? I'm a bankster that was able to crack the code to my neck electrical brace, and I broke out of the prison and I'm running free. Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The Indian at the very end when he chucks the garbage can through the fence or whatever, and he's running down the road free. I'm one of those guys. I'm running free right now. Lord, everybody quickly before they kill me. And seriously, people, you better fucking learn this shit. I don't want to make this a waste of my time. All right, so the Benkov, way to go, Chris. Well, Chris, you're an insider. Oh, JU5T. Do I know who you are? It looks like he got it as well. So the point of the matter here, what I'm trying to say is, this trade's actually extremely cliche, but with what I just said there, and this was where I was going with all of this, can't really come in and buy there, because if I did come in and buy there, what did we say our trade metric had to be? What was the risk reward that we should be shooting for?
2-1.
Yeah. So that means if I come in and buy there, and we know that key support was down there, all right, most recent W's, then that means, remember, I got to get paid doing this. That means I got to realistically be able to see there $45 on this thing. Now, maybe that happens. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but looking at an image like that, I think you're kind of thinking, you're kind of like just tossing a coin. It could very easily pop up here, as we said. It's probably, this is the top of value, so anybody who's done level 2 with us, you see that is the reload zone, short zone in there. You might actually find that this trend line acts as a major barrier. How we act here, I mean, maybe if we're lucky we can get up here and then put in W's and away we go, but that is a huge barrier right now. So to expect this level up here to be traded to, I think that's asking a bit much. I tell you, the easiest tool to use if you're thinking about setting technical objectives, I mean, if you're buying the bottom ends of ranges, is 50% rule. So you can see, boink, nailed. this one did actually move a bit higher up to Mountain Man. Usually Mountain Man stops the market, and sure enough, did it there. So, could I justify looking at something like that right there? No, that's just not me. So, as I said there just a minute ago, what do you do right now? Sadly, there's nothing I can do. What I would say is there's no harm in drawing reload zones, and just keep drawing your reload zones. Now you can see the reload zone is right in there. Right? You could even throw a stink bid right back against Benkoff check levels. See if you can get filled. You're coming a little bit late to the party because the divergences and all that kind of stuff that set up this move, they're probably all played out. But, well, our joke there, Andres, is Ben, we named the Wyckoff check the Benkoff check earlier in an earlier episode. I can't remember which one. So that was the joke there. So, if you did want to buy this, I would say, we've got a pretty big thumping coming up here in the broader market sometime in February, March. I would say you probably let this thing come up against the trend line if it's lucky and it can get up there. And then I would just keep hunting these reload zones. And my hunch is you're probably going to get something that sets up down the road, something like that. And this is where we get back into, remember back in early December, what did you have to be? The two words that you had to employ. And if you can't do it, then it'll be interesting. Kind of like what we were supposed to do with that Shiba, and then there was another one, is come back and look at this later on. I wouldn't mind coming back and looking at this in a couple months, because my hunch is it's going to look something like this. So I won't change the chart. I'll just leave that. But that's basically my 2 cents. Too late to buy. Way too late to buy. Probably should have been doing some selling here and taking profits off the double bottom. And then, had you sold, is that a double? 27? No, it's not quite a double. Maybe you sell like 2/3 or something. Try and get that risk-free trade. And then, look to reload on this pullback here. And actually, I really do like something along these lines because that's what's supposed to happen. That 22 Dyson Emiel chart. There's supposed to be a pretty nasty pullback into the late spring, early summer. So I do like that kind of idea of a pullback here into sort of spring going forward. So I wouldn't be surprised if we push higher here, but I can't really justify buying that there. It's just too risky. So there you go. All right. Took about 45 minutes to answer one question. I think we'll probably get through, 10 coins tonight? How late? Actually, it's pretty late for you guys back east, right? So I can't talk forever. Anyway. Okay, so we did Link. What else should we do here tonight? Didn't somebody ask for EOS or something?
Yeah, somebody asked for EOS and then also the Graft.
Graft.
Was it GRT? I think, or GR.
GRT. With that?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Ugh. Well, it's down against the bottom end range, so that's not so bad. Oh, wow, what a weird looking chart, eh? Problem is what's the whole history here? You know what this looks like? This looks like there's something else that I was looking at that looks like this. What the hell was that? Let's see whether we can get a little bit more data. This thing's been around for a while, hasn't it? I seem to recall. This guy looks like he's been around a while. Yeah, like Polo or something. Here's Polo. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's better. Okay, so I think we have a pretty good defined range here. We have an expression on the site. Most of the ladies, they really like this expression. No, they don't. I suppose it could be a man or ladies. It doesn't matter. The longer the what, the bigger the what. So, in fact, actually, there was a crude oil trade that I took the other day that was almost exactly like this. It was a day trade. But we like to call this a narrow sideways channel. So the rule, theoretically, with narrow sideways channels, you're just going to buy on a stop on a break above this high. I might argue that this big honkin' W already did fire. So, actually, I think the W is that level right there, right? Breakout. Interesting. Notice how it M'd out off of that same level. So it's almost like this is the top end of the range, this is the bottom end of the range, and there's your midpoint pivot. So, I mean, it's stuck in a channel. If we look at sort of a higher time frame, what's sort of the trend? It's not overly optimistic. You know, actually, it's interesting. In late November, it broke out there. A odd time of year for breakouts. Probably a really good example. What would we call this level here? Let's see if the boys know this. What would we call that level there? And you notice, ching, 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 totally got tripped up. What would we call that level there? If you bought this as a big W, there to there to there, and I bought that W, what would we call that level right in there? No? No ideas?
I don't know.
We would call that the noob stop. Especially on these big wide W's. 9 times out of 10, the traders will go after this level just to run those weekend stops. Happens all the time. And actually, when I first got into trading, and I used to trade with an old commodities trader, Kenny Roberts, he actually started out by saying you're going to buy there and put your stop there. And after I worked with him for about 5 or 6 years, and this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, the computers were starting to come in, and people were saying, I remember we got the internet in my brokerage office in 1994, maybe 95, somewhere in there. And he quickly changed his rule to stop down here. So what often happens is this is actually perceived as a liquidity pool. And guys who do want to get long on the cheap, they'll actually place their buy order just below here. So if market comes down like in this candle, trips this level up, these people have their stop loss orders here, which are sell orders. And Mr. Fat Cat has his buy order, and he's buying into their sell orders right here. Jerk. Bob, I am a dicko. Right? Anytime you see that kind of attitude or the behavior in the market, think of Bob, I am a dicko. And it's so funny. If I ever run into him down the street and he sees these videos, he's just going to walk up to me and punch me in the nose. I know he is. Good thing nobody, 31 people are watching this video. Nobody watches these videos. But, Derek, if you can finish that fucking exam, we should get you into the day trading room in the morning, and we should be introducing you to Johnny Hoagland. And Johnny Hoagland used to be business partners with Bob I am a dicko. Actually, I gotta say, I was over the top impressed. I hadn't been back to listen to John and back to listen to and hang out with the Top Step people in a while, but they actually greeted me very warmly. That was a bit surprising. I wasn't expecting that the other day. Anyway, it was kind of fun. So I do see though that there's this cheeky little W over here, and I wonder if that's sort of your base. So this one's got a bigger one. I guess the retail public got sucked into FOMO buying this move up here. We often say that there's one fib that you can use that can really help you sort of see whether a market is still a bull or still a bear. And that's a 38.2. So, seeing this breakout way up here And the close proximity to 38.2, can you see how we rallied up to 38.2 and then boom, smacked right off it? So I get the impression that this market's still trying to figure out whether it is actually a bear or whether it actually is a bull. That's a tough one. I tell you, I really like the idea. If you're a sharpshooter and you really believe in this story, notice we're getting like 8s and 9s here on the Tom DeMark. I really like, just stay laser focused here. And if you get any kind of buy signals, I mean, the question would be ultimately, do we have any signs of divergence? All right, because that's sort of that's our secret weapon. So you tell me. Any signs of divergence here? It's not bad. There's a pretty big one there, right? Looks like RSI made a higher low than those lows. Looks like there's a bit of a div that came in there. Looks like Willie, even the moving average is higher. Willie did go stupid. Also, too, and I noticed this on the weekly chart. This actually would make Johnny Hoagland super happy. Well, actually, not so much there. Maybe if we go back to the daily. Notice we are really basically down at the bottom of value here. So, some people are cheap asses. I don't know. Is there any show on YouTube where there's guy who's a bit of a cheap ass?
I'm one of them too, so don't feel.
I'm sorry, folks. I hate spending money. I mean, I hate spending money. So if I can figure out a way to either not spend money, or if I have to buy something, I want to buy it cheap and get it save money, keep the money in my pocketbook, I will. So seeing it below value here is actually fantastic. Another thing, write this down. If you can force yourself to only buy below value, you do very, very well in this world. Because what probably should happen is this thing should come back. Remember we said that was the midpoint pivot? This thing should come back to that midpoint and fill in this profile in here. Is that enough for you to get a double? It's at 58, and that's going to get you to 78. So it's 30, 40, maybe 50% return. Not exactly huge numbers. But remember I had said earlier about that noob stop. I kind of like the idea that these lows should hold. They went after the noob stop. They cleaned them out. And you can see that was on a divergence. So this thing isn't nearly as weak as price is leading you to believe. But what you really need now is show me a W. Right? Give me some sort of W to frame that risk. What's the point of TA? As it stands right now, I hate to say it, but we just had... And actually, this is interesting because I could very easily see... Do you notice here, when this W came in here? Let's see if you guys get this. When this W came in here, was the bullish divergence confirmed?
No.
What do you think, Ben? We got one no? What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I can't really.
Good.
Yeah.
We know that the divergence is confirmed when we break out here. So, when do we start hunting for the W's? Guys, start hunting for the W after the divergence is confirmed. So notice this W, can't use it. Sucks. Now we got to get a W. And what happened? Goddamn thing went and fucking M'd out. Bang, bang, bang. Ugh. So this is a situation where you see this big move up here and you're kind of like rah, rah, bull, but patience and discipline. It gets you every fucking time. So you just have to be... The divergences come in. In fact, we're probably going to make what we call, and I don't know. Do you guys know where I'm going? If Brian's starting to giggle, where do you think Brian's going? That doesn't ring a bell when you start to hear Brian giggling and stuff? Think Colleen, right? What does Colleen usually say? So Brian usually is acting like a 12-year-old, right? Have you guys never seen that on the site? She's always
I've heard that
teasing
before.
me.
I don't know where you're going with this though.
Well, also, what's a 12-year-old? What's a 12-year-old got on his mind?
Sounds like he's gonna draw something inappropriate.
But not only what if I? Hey, there you go. Aaron finally got it. Somebody's reading my mind. It's just
You're
these
looking
guys.
for double divergence.
There you go, double D's. How can you tell Brian's wife passed away 10 years ago and he hasn't been with a woman since? Actually, 11 years come this March. Fuck. Anyway, point here is this looks like it's setting up what we call a double divergence. And I always tell people on the site, ooh, I love them double D's. So what probably is going to happen here is we get a rally, very much like this one, which confirmed this divergence. Probably going to get another rally, and then that confirms this big honking divergence. The double divergence is now confirmed. And what kind of chart pattern does that kind of look like? Where do you think I'm going now?
Maybe a show. Yep, inverse head and shoulders. No, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking inverse head and shoulders. What?
Yeah. Is that what you said, Ben? I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking
I
here,
incorrectly said head and shoulders, though. So.
Okay.
Yeah, Derek had it right. Inverted.
Yeah, inverted. So that's bullish. And I'm kind of thinking it kind of looks something. If we get that big pop, which confirms that next divergence, that's probably going to bring price. Remember we said earlier, odds are price probably wants to come back and fill in that notch. Because really what this profile, what shape does this profile want to look like? God, I'm asking you guys tons of questions tonight, eh?
That's okay. It wants to be a parabola.
Yeah. And in actual fact, the more fuller the profile is, the better. So you can clearly see there is a lot of unfinished business all in here, right? This all needs to be filled in. If you ever see a profile that looks like a brick wall and it's all even like that, it means this market is about ready to launch to the moon or totally collapse. But we don't want to see collapse, right? So we're going to get that off the screen ASAP. We're only bulls here, right?
Plus, you're waiting for your W on the other side of that trend line.
All right. Oh, see. Yeah. You know, this is the thing. Remember, have you ever guys heard me say, if you can find 3 reasons for a trade, odds are you can find 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? So, you know, we've already talked about divergence. We've talked about location. I mean, frankly speaking, you could draw a reload zone from that high back down to that low. And I think odds are we're probably in that reload zone. Yep, there it is. So, trade location, yeah. Divergence, double D's. Ooh. Oh. Willie was stupid. And then Derek just said there a moment ago, well, you know, can you give me a W on the other side of this trend line? Look at that shit. So really what we're thinking here is give us this push up into here. Now, and actually this is kind of a cool question. If you were adventurous and you said, look, I'm going to risk against this original W bottom low, and this was the noob stop, so they busted out the noobs. I'm going to risk against here. Is there a signal that just fired here that could actually justify you getting long down here? What do you think, boys? Do you see anything here that might actually support you buying? Actually, anybody on YouTube, let's see if you guys can answer this. I'll give you a hint. How do we give you a hint without giving the answer away? Japanese mummy with baby.
That's my weakness. What the things that you're talking about here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I need to definitely
brush up on.
Yeah.
Ben, do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, could I say?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an inside bar.
Inside bar. What's another polite name? But this is actually a really big...
Harami.
Right. Not only is this an inside bar, there to there to there, but this inside bar is actually completely inside the body of the previous candle. Do we call that kind of inside bar anything in particular? Actually, Ben just gave us the answer, but I don't know whether any of you guys got this. Got tokens level 1 completed. All right. Not quite sure what that means. Do we call this a bull rammy? Somebody said on YouTube this is a bull rammy. Do we call that a bull rammy? Whoa.
I don't know.
You can see that. I can see the boys, that the steam's coming out of their ears. They're thinking here. I'm really making them work tonight.
I just don't want a samurai jumping out of the closet. I don't want a samurai jumping out of the closet and
there you go, yeah,
reprimanding me.
Good. Well, so that's the problem, right? Is usually a bull rammy, somebody calls that a harami, and the samurai jumps out of the closet and chops your head off. So, answer here, this is not a bull rammy. If you took the level 1 course and you have the material from the site, go look up the material and understand why that's not a bull rammy. Harami? A bullish harami? Yes, it is. And it's interesting. The easy way for you to remember harami is actually if you translate it from Japanese to English. And the translation is pregnant lady with baby in body. All right? Does that not look like a pregnant lady? And there's the baby in the body. And the reason why we can call this harami and we don't call it just an inside bar is the entire baby is still inside mummy's body. So we call that harami. And FYI, that is a very powerful signal to Japanese candlestick traders. So, the interesting thing looking at this chart is, that was right off of 88.6 level. Like the sharpshooter traders, what this really means is I'm going to come in and buy the harami, which is a buy signal. I'm going to risk against the original bottom, right, which is down there. And I'm going to shoot for a 2-to-1, which is, ironically enough, why don't we even, actually, wait a minute. Let's go for 2-to-1, right? That's our sort of knee jerk. So that puts us right into this big, what we call a notch on the profile. Right? And I might argue if we can accept back above this POC right here, then I used to call this, when I was a pit trader, I used to call this the claw. And actually, that's terrible claw. But it used to be like that, and like that, and like that, and like that, right? So this is the claw. And once price gets over this hump here, it's basically trapped in the claw. And it won't leave that for a while. So, huge battle here, right? Huge battle at... and really that makes sense, right? Because there's an original market structure failure. But a guy who could come in and really, the Mr. Patient and Disciplined, who maybe last November was like, holy shit, that's bullish. But I can't chase. I'm going to throw on my reload zones. And as soon as we start getting down into reload zone area, I'm going to start really hunting setups. Double divergence, right? We said the divergence comes in here. Now I can start hunting W's. Really, I mean, the irony of it all is that 61.8 is all the way up there where we actually are kind of thinking that the head and shoulders is going to fire, right? There's our head and shoulders. So my hunch is that we're going to just basically play in this area here between 88.6 and 61.8 for a while. And if you're a bull, and if you're a professional, if you're an institutional player, and you believe in this story, I mean, the problem with our conversation here tonight was this is all about studying and understanding price action. I don't know anything about the fundamental story. Do either of you two know anything about the fundamental story on this thing? Crickets. That's not a good sign.
Not as much. I mean, I think their goal is to sort of it's another way to reference data on the blockchain, to get data onto the blockchain through something, so you can publish your almost like your data in a specific way, and you can share it. So there's something called a graph, which I guess it's a sort of a computer science way in terms of being able to access different data. And the way they've implemented it is that you can, like an individual or a company or something like that, can have their own data that they can then share. It's easier to use through using their protocol.
So how would you determine the value on one of these tokens?
That's a good question. I don't know.
No. Somebody over there says indexing the blockchain.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like what Google did? They sort of just surfed all the websites and just indexed the whole fucking internet. Is that
yes? I think it's almost like I know one way you have to like index blockchains. It's literally go through every single block, but this probably gives you a quicker way to sort of reference things.
Cool.
So yeah,
it sounds like a fun project. My question for all of you is, how do we connect higher prices with what we're seeing here? And somebody says the fundamentals is Shartoshi bot. Our level 2 instructor is a professional futures trader, and he would probably say, I can almost hear the words coming out of his mouth. He would probably say, with all this bearish structure, I think you actually have to wait for this thing to pop up, break this structure, then come back, then confirm the breakout, and only at this point can you start hunting pullbacks, buy the fucking dip, all that kind of talk. So hopefully you see there's a bunch of different ways to approach this. That would be sort of the conservative way. Let this head and shoulders play itself out. Let this W confirm, right? Give us a W on the other side of this trend line, all that kind of fun stuff. Again, you know what that's speaking to? Those two words, patience and discipline. I don't mind taking this harami and you just simply saying, look at Brian, I'm just going to risk to a break of 42. If it breaks that, I'm out of there. I don't really mind that. That's not bad at all. But you have to understand, if you're going to take that kind of approach, this thing is still pointing down. So I guess the question I would have for you and anybody who's interested in this thing right now is, what's the fundamental drivers? Is this thing going to be listed on a bunch of different exchanges? That's a wonderful sort of, it's like a sentiment driver. They call it quantitative analysis, more users using, more Google searches, all that kind of stuff. Is that what's driving this? Is there actually like a new product or a new protocol or something that's being added? Is this one of these kind of things like Luna, where they're just gonna have keep having more and more sort of sub stories that use this thing?
Yeah,
like that's the only reason why I think Luna keeps moving up, is they just keep adding sort of like sub protocols. I don't know whether that's the right word.
It seems like one way to value things like this, these type of more seems like at a protocol level where you can actually, like, other blockchains can use it.
Yeah.
It would seem like one of the only ways to value these things, at least now, would be like, are people actually using it, right? And how many projects are using it? Because almost like, I think like Chainlink kind of sets that precedence, right? How many projects have to use Chainlink? It kind of
Right.
gives it. That's kind
Yeah.
of where it gets its value from. And so
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
type of protocol level, I guess, project seems like
So,
that would be. But that's you got to dig in to figure out. I don't know where you get that data from
I
to figure
don't,
that out.
and you know what? That sounds to me like Derek just volunteered for a project to research this coming week. Isn't it
Sounds
great
good.
how these guys just totally volunteer for these jobs? Man, it's just
I'll
so
take
awesome.
it. I'll take it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ben actually saying it was me who volunteered to actually do the work. So my apologies, Derek. I totally stepped on your toes. It's Ben who's going to do all the research for us. Thank you so much, Ben. I love you. Hugs and kisses. All right, so there's my take. What do you think? Was that of any value? Whoever asked for me to take a look at this online, there on YouTube, do you feel as though, hey, that was time well spent listening to him? I don't know. Hope so. It is a little after 8 o'clock. I remember there was one other one that we probably wanted to look at, right? What was that?
To go back and check.
All right. Bull Ramy. AG says Bull Ramy. No, actually, this was not. This was Harami. So be careful there. And yeah, Oscar says it's already on a ton of exchanges, so you're not going to get that pump there. But anyway.
I know one we mentioned was EOS.
EOS?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a look. We'll finish off with that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We got about 30, 40 people. As I said before, if you do feel like you're getting some value out of this and you're not a site member and stuff like that, and you're not in the school program, we do, the whole reason why we did this originally was to try and build a booth in Decentraland. So we do have an ETH wallet that is in the description. So if you do feel like contributing to our project of trying to get that booth up and running, there is the ETH wallet. So do it as you please. And then also, if you're listening to all my rants and you're like, gee whiz, I sure would love to learn how to trade like a professional. We do have the latest school term starting up shortly. Actually, I think it's this week that registration is, and we don't really have registration open very often. So if you're motivated, you better get off your butt and get into the school program. And both of my co-hosts here are working their way through the program. I guess Derek has finished the program now, although he hasn't quite got his veterans tag. But Ben, I guess, are you going to be starting up on the level 2 or level 3 year soon?
Yeah, so I've signed up for a lifetime membership, so I'll be doing it, but I'm gonna take a bit of a hiatus and just focus on just getting good at using my journal and my trading setup before I overload myself.
All right.
Did
you made it through the level 1?
Yep.
So maybe what might be fun is maybe in a broadcast. Leave comments here whether you'd like to see this. Maybe what we should do is we should have Ben, get rid of the personal information, but maybe share his trading plan with what he came out of the level 1, and we should maybe use it as to help him, give him pointers and stuff like that, and really get him focused on the setups that he really likes to use. That might be a fun experiment to do here through this. I don't know if he's up for it. It's up to you, sir.
Sure.
But any way that we can
some accountability.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, half of this, kind of like what Dr. Gordon would tell us, right? Is this is it's a funny business. This business of trading. You can make a lot of money, and in this kind of world, the way the banksters have set things up, the way the politicians have set things up. If you know what you're doing and you can manage your behavior, I mean, you just saw there. Shouldn't we debate our future? No, shut the fuck up. Dilute the shit out of the system. Print money. Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 60 G's. Can you make money in that environment? Sure hope so. Can we have the patience and discipline to wait for those politicians to go again? Shouldn't we debate mortgages? Shut the fuck up! Print the money! Get the goddamn money going! Right? And then that's your buy signal, and fucking get in there and load up. So I don't know whether we really have that kind of environment right now. I don't think we do, in fact. So do we need some sort of big shakeout to get us back to that point? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the economy's got enough inertia behind it, though, that actually we have to go through a full interest rate rising cycle before they break it again, and then we go through all that again. So probably be a while before one of those incredible buying windows. In fact, actually, I even put a tweet out. You want to see exactly what the roadmap looks like to me? The problem is when I do these, and it's not what people want to see. Man, I get a lot of negative feedback over this stuff. But this is pretty much what I'm expecting over the next couple of years. Yeah, right there. So we know our next halving event is sometime in sort of early to mid 2024. So if we do all the back math, this was the last peak and halving cycle, where the market bottomed relative to the halving event, where the killer reload trade happened in relation to that halving event. And then if you actually look at the previous cycle, basically the same data. So this is actually what my roadmap is now for the next couple of years in this space. No, not very exciting, but that's basically what I'm working off of. And ironically enough, almost every kind of asset, they usually say a typical bear market's about like 18 months or so. So if we have topped, there's still a debate about that. I think we have, but that's just my opinion. It doesn't really mean anything. Then we're probably going to look like this for the next couple of years. And remember I showed you that 22 stock market image, right? So, if this thing had to come down into the late spring, or I guess maybe midsummer or something like that, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, maybe we find that this correction actually is really quick this time. Last time it took like a whole year to get down to the bottom. The previous cycle, it actually took about a year and a half to get all the way to the bottom. Maybe this time they do it in like 6-8 months, kind of the way they just did it to Doge. That could happen. Wouldn't surprise me. So, something along these lines. Now back to your story, sorry. All right, so EOS. It looks like there was a hell of a rally here. So if you didn't get yourself a free position, then tisk tisk. 390, so basically a better part of $7-8. That's that's what this rally was. So all the sort of sell halves on doubles guys, they were all selling here, and that's probably what generated that pullback. This one I think is probably an example. Well, it got up to 15, So we said that the breakout there was what is that number? 394, So times 2 is 16, So they just missed the next double level. I would have been up in that area there. Zooming out, not really getting too much else to work with. I think I would say that your trade was down in here. That same chart that Derek was making reference to about the trend line break and a W on the other side of the trend line. Another great example of this, folks. So 1, 2, look how we rallied up into here. Is this 3? Can you justify this trade? I know there's some people that would go, well, that's a W there, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, I suppose this has been very, very aggressive. But what did we say the minimum risk reward is we want to have to justify taking a trade?
2 to 1.
Thank you. It's just, I've been going now for about 2.5 hours. Are you guys getting exhausted?
No. Uh-uh.
I don't know what it is. I mean, geez, how long was the daily brief today? It was a good 2-3 hours, eh? Not really brief, eh? I guess Brian's a liar. Anyway, so maybe you could have taken that. That would have been pretty aggressive. But, I suppose. I mean, it is there. It's not really something I would probably do. What I would want to see is I'd really want to see like breakout and then come on, give us a nice juicy W, right? Something like that. So if anything, I think this is a pretty good example where, there just was no W there. And sure enough, boof. So we are, I think now you could say we are officially on the other side of this trend line. So that's a good sign. If anything, you know what this looks like to me is this looks like a huge. What did I call this pattern when I did this off of that other name earlier? What does that sort of look like? And if we do break out through the top here, where does that take us? So I don't know whether we're going to hold here or not, but if we do. Boom. Look at that. Oh, almost. Actually, I want to see something really cool. This is so awesome. Let's see if I can show you. I don't even know if I have it. When I was in Zurich, actually that guy I was telling you about, we actually found Amanda's penthouse. You want to see Amanda's penthouse? Have you guys been around long enough to know who Amanda is and Amanda's penthouse?
Is that the one from Dash or something?
Yeah. So we went to atop of the mountain in Switzerland.
Yeah, it's a cute little house. Here's David's home. We finally made it to David's home. Actually, you know what, people? I think we just found Amanda's penthouse. Let's see if she's home. Hey, here's a TRI guy.
Actually, this is one of my favorite TRI OGs.
Bitcoin. Oh, right on. Are you a TRIer? Who are you? Chris. Oh, all right. Here, you gotta record the big meeting.
I have these meetups with TRIers all over the world.
There we are.
There's Brian, there's Chris, Change Society, and there's David I was telling you about earlier.
Look at that view, everybody.
And there we were at the top of the mountain in Switzerland. And there's Amanda's penthouse.
Wow, this is spectacular, right?
So those are great memories. Anyway, I was reminiscing with David today. So last cycle, and actually let's see if we can show you. I don't know, is Dash even still around, or has it gone out of business yet?
No, I think they're still
around.
All right, so there's there's the Dash chart. So you hopefully can kind of see the same thing. Not really. Actually, this isn't a very good example. But I think when we were breaking out, we were doing things like, extension levels and stuff heading up. And one of the principles, actually, this doesn't look right at all. Why does that not look right? Something doesn't look right about that. Anyway, I seem to remember it was quite cliche the way that we worked our way up, but this does not look right at all. I think this is actually after the fact. It was, man, that was a while ago, eh? I don't even think it was. Back then, there was no tether. Maybe I had to do it versus Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe it was Bitcoin. So anyway, here is that same image that I just showed you a moment ago. Eh? Do you guys see that? Do you see that formation? So narrow sideways channel where it does actually go up to the top end of the range, but then it backs off. And then, fun, we just, and really you could even just do that, but, interesting. Actually, Foggy Boggy would probably have to go off at that low. Come on, you. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Son of a bitch. So, I used to try to explain price action to people. I would say think of this as a trading range. And then what ends up happening is the market literally stair steps its way higher. In fact, our level 3 program, we have a module on this, trading with the DOM. And you can actually see the buy and sell walls on the order book. And the way I used to describe it, especially with if it was like junior stocks way back when, like the .com boom and stuff, we would just simply say that they're just walking price up the order book. And so you can actually set like even levels. Remember that narrow sideways channel. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. So hopefully you can see the progression. And in this particular case, we got all the way up to, I guess, the 5th level. I guess we go there. 5. Yeah. So sometimes, in capitalism, this happens. Have you guys ever heard me say you can actually measure this distance? And actually, this would be an interesting quiz question. Have you done the level 2, Ben, yet? Or no?
Not yet.
All right. So you wouldn't know this. But if I said the term horizontal count, Derek, does that sound at all familiar?
Yeah, but that's I can't think of the name of what that is. No, that's not the point and figure stuff, is it?
Yeah, point and figure
point
charting.
figure.
But it's basically the same premise in that point and figure charters, like think of the people who did point and figure charting lived like hundreds of years ago. They didn't have computers. They had to try and figure shit out as they go. And they would literally draw little X's as price would move up. Right? As price just keeps moving up, draw more X's. And then conversely, as price heads back down, they would draw O's. And horizontal count literally says that we are going to count all of the X's and all of the O's all the way along here. There's a lot of them. The longer the channel, how does that go?
The bigger the run.
The bigger the run. So for those people that use point and figure charting, they would, if you see this kind of back and forth, it means there is a ton of energy being built up in here. Both going up and going down. This is energy anytime the price is moving. And if it's stuck in one of these channels and it keeps moving back and forth, it's more and more and more energy is being like coiled up. And at some point, that son of a bitch has got to release itself. And there is the release of the energy. Can you see that? It's really, really good example of the principle. And we used to make a joke, right? I used to say, as these things break out, you kind of want to think of this as a department store. So the first floor is like household appliances. Of course, you got to spell these numbers correctly, or else you're not going to get any sales. Appliances, there we go. Second floor might be something like, I don't know, kids wear, maybe the toy store. Then maybe the third floor is, I don't know, we'll say, I don't know, ladies wear, something like that. And then finally, right up at the very top of the department store is the penthouse. Amanda's penthouse. So, and needless to say, a lot of people at TRI did very, very well on this. So it's kind of funny. You saw in that video, we all, hey, you know what that is? That's Amanda's penthouse. Hey. So actually, that's kind of a cool illustration. You also notice foggy boggies. Boom. Stop that thing cold. So lots of really good information you can learn from that. I almost don't even want to get rid of that chart. It's so pretty. But think of, the longer the channel, the bigger the run. And the reason why we're talking about this was because of that other name, right, that we were looking at. So, oh, God, it's going to be a mess. What was the other, it was like GRT or something like that. I almost don't want to get rid of that. Was it GRT?
The one we were just looking at was EOS.
Yeah. EOS. That's right. EOS. Sorry. So, is EOS doing what Dash did last cycle? Maybe. Where were we looking at this thing? You guys remember? Was it Coinbase? No.
Was that
Polo?
That wasn't Poloniex, was it?
Was it Polo? I wanted to see like a long history because remember this. Oh yeah, remember. Was it versus BTC? Oh, darn. Anyway, that chart that we were looking at, what the hell is this? No, that's not right. No, darn. EOS. Maybe it was USD. Ah, screw it. You know what? It's not that important. It's just such a pretty write-up I did on Dash. And actually, maybe I'll do that later on because it was so cool. But let's go back and see what that other one was. It's going to take it's going to take forever. So, no. Oh, no. Damn it. No, I don't want to do this because they're going to have to go through every damn letter. Maybe if I'm lucky, the symbol's still here. But what symbol were we looking at, guys? Can you remember what it was? EOS. Which one was it? Was it 10?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe it was this one. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, we can use this.
Got lucky.
All right. So, remember I showed you that dash. Can you see that similar kind of image happening here? All right. We'll do that again. Are you going to come up? Yeah, there we go. See this right in here?
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. So I don't know whether, and is EOS, is this one of these ones that was supposed to be like a Ethereum killer or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the original Ethereum killer.
The original Ethereum killer. So
but they had like the year-long ICO with they raised shit ton of money, like billions and billions of dollars.
Wow. Okay. And just on a fundamental perspective, what do you think? How's it going for them?
To be honest with you, I haven't heard much news. I can't say I follow them either, but I haven't heard anything like people talking about it. So okay. I don't know.
So that it looks to me like maybe that EOS we're kind of like what, maybe about here, right? Let's pull that up. EOS. No, that's not that one. What was it?
Oh no, it's also Coinbase doesn't have a full history either because it's
Which one was it that we were looking at? Bitfinex.
I don't know.
Bitfinex,
yeah,
is that where we were? Woo, lots of history there. That's cool.
Yeah, that should have full history. Yeah.
Okay, well that's actually even a little better. So, can you kind of see how there's that dash, the big move up initially, then pull back, then rally up, then pull back. So we've come right back down against the bottom. I guess the question I would have on this thing is how many coins are out? Isn't there like just a ridiculously large amount? I seem to remember. We have just under
Close
a
to a
billion. Eh? Wow, that's a hell of a lot, eh? I mean, yeah, so there's the issue. So the the asset's worth like $3 billion right now. I don't even know what is Ethereum's market cap. That'd be interesting to see. Is it 10 times that? Circulating supply is only 119, so it's about 1/10 the supply. And it's what does that say? 400 billion? Is that right? Half a trillion?
And ADA has 33 billion out. So that's perspective there.
ADA. Oh, Jesus. So this guy's got a $42 billion market cap. So he's probably more sort of competitive. But the one thing that bugs me about this is, a billion coins out. That's a hell of a lot. So, is this centralized?
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with this one. I mean, I don't know.
I seem to remember it has a centralized component, but I don't know for certain. Interesting too. It's stack on Phoenix, eh? And also this white bit. What the hell is white bit? Do you know what that is? Not sure what that is.
Never heard of it.
24-hour volume. Well, looks like these guys are doing a shitload of volume. So, all right. And you're getting relatively positive readings from their trust score there. So, yeah, I mean, if anything, probably what we have to hear is that people are using this chain and using this sort of platform to launch other platforms, right? Isn't that kind of like how Ethereum has grown so much and Luna has grown because they have like a platform and then other names come to them to use the platform, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
So the question ultimately is, how is that going for these guys? Are they building out the ecosystem? Are there more protocols and stuff being launched off of this thing? I mean, I don't know the answer to any of that, but that's probably what you need to know to see whether this thing's got legs or not. Looking at the price chart, I mean, it is at the bottom end of the range, and there was the orgy in crypto last spring. So you can see what they do when they get going. Other than the fact that it's at the bottom end of the range, though, I don't have a hell of a lot else to really get excited about. Do we have any kind of divergence here in momentum or volume? Nothing really on volume. We made a new low there recently, so that's not good. Potential div in MACD hasn't been confirmed. You're probably going to have to get some sort of rally here. And that's sort of the whole patience and discipline kind of thing. I could see this level here being a pretty big level, right? That's that low there, that low there, that low there, that high there, that high there. So clearly this is a hugely important level. Get that div up into this level and launch MACD up so it can confirm that it's bottomed. Launch RSI up so it can confirm that it's bottomed. Willie, and the worst part about this is it doesn't even look like Willie even went stupid here. So this thing was never actually really oversold down here. Little dangerous. I don't see a heck of a lot to get excited about here. I think, if you are bullish, you gotta get that div. You gotta get that div to come in. And then once we get the div to come in, then give me some W's to work with, and maybe we have something to frame a trade. But right now, I don't have anything. Okay, 8:30, 2.5 hours. I think I'm done. Always love chatting with you guys about crypto. It's a lot of fun to come and hang out with you guys on Wednesday nights, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed yourselves this evening.
Sure did.
Shall we make grand bets? I suppose we'll let Derek bet first. I think I remember we put Ben on the hot seat first last week. So what do you think, Derek? Where are we going?
What did I do last week? -1. I'm gonna go 1 this week.
Oh, really?
Next week.
All right. So Ben's gone bull. So Nick and Ben will be in the same camp if we rally here. What do you think? Oh, Jesus! All three of them are going bull. That's a bit scary.
Uh-oh.
They can't keep killing our hope.
Okay.
if they keep doing that, then people are gonna take their ball and go home. Just leave.
All right, so we had a big neutral bet, and I lost my charts from last go round. I wonder if there's any way I can find them again. Where did I have that? Gee whiz, that's such a piss off. I can't even remember where the hell they were.
You talking about the one you were drawing the sign on and all that?
Yeah, I had such a fun little chart that I was using with you guys. It has a nice sine wave, and I had my little votes and everything.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh well, yeah, no, my stupid computer. It's my own fault.
Those don't save automatically. I mean, you just gotta go through
Well,
and find
they
them.
do.
You gotta
but
go through and find them somehow.
I had 42 tabs open.
Oh, damn.
So, I mean, we could go through one by
That's
one
tough.
by one. It's one of these charts.
No.
I have no idea which one, though. It could be something like that. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. They all say BTC, right? So I don't know. I mean, like, we could be here.
You got to pour some wine and sit down and figure that one out for yourself.
Yeah, I think so. I'm still in shock, right? When you lose all that fucking work and stuff, you're just in shock, and I'm kind of like, oh, I don't want to look at it now. So anyway, I still have to make a grand prediction for you guys, though, eh? So what the hell is what am I gonna say here? Let's go new chart, and then let's go BTC USD. Boom. And I do like when, let's go maybe 4 hours, and okay, and then we'll put on our sine wave. There we are. Okay, well, clearly we got some sort of pivot up here. Looks like we got a pivot down here. Yeah, something like that. It's not bad. And then we want to, let's find our little time window. Date range. So, 7 days. Oh, 4 hours. What's 4 hours in 7 days? I'll change it back to a daily. So, 7 days. All right, let's go back down to that 4 hour. Okay. So, today is Wednesday. Next Wednesday. That sound about right? So we're going to be meeting here on the 19th. 19th. What did we say a zero rating is? What's the margin of error? Like, what's plus or minus? What did we say? It's 1%? 2%?
Yeah, I think we said 1%.
1%, so that would be what? Basically about $500. So if I thought this was going to go above 44,000, then I would put a 1. And if I thought this was going below 43,000, I would put a -1.
That's fair.
Okay.
I think so.
So my grand prediction. Wow, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to go against all of you guys, which kind of sucks. I also need my January barometer chart too. Damn it! I feel so naked without all my charts. Where the hell did the damn thing go? All right. Well, anyway. All right, so I think I'm going to have to then say, and where was that chart again? Yeah. So, $500, roughly. Maybe it was 2%. That would be like 1,000. Maybe that's probably more like it. But we'll go with 1%, just for argument's sake. So roughly. Oh, come on, you. All right, something like that. Boom. All right, so anything outside of this, and I have to give either a +1 or a -1. I hate to say it, I think we're going to be down here. So I'm going to have to give a -1. Sucks. Hopefully I'm wrong. We'll see how it goes. That would be really cool if all three of you were right and I was wrong, because then it would just show that predicting is really kind of a waste of time. But I'm gonna say -1, expecting a bigger than -1% drop. Just in case, if the threshold, I can't remember what Nick set this to. If the threshold is $1,000, or like like 2%, then I would keep it at 0. But I don't know offhand which one it is. So I'm expecting a greater than 1% drop for next Wednesday. Okay, well there you go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't know whether there's really any sales pitches that I really want to give you guys. Really, everybody watches this. You're crypto oriented. I will say, I think this is a fabulous tool that Sjord has built here. And I will be making continual reference to it going forward. So you're probably going to get absolutely sick to your stomach hearing Brian talk about the dashboard and signals and breadth and stuff like that. But I think on balance, I like this message out of the breadth for the broader market here. I like that. It looks like we're gonna pop here. So if anything, that kind of corresponds with how all three of the boys are thinking. So let's see if there has to be a dip in here in 1 week against these lows. I think there is, but we'll see how it goes. Usually these bottoms take about a week or two to develop. So, yeah. The votes have been cast, and I'll wait to review with Nick. All I'm going to say with regard to the spreadsheet is if it's 2%, then I'm going to change my vote to 0. But if it's 1%, then I have to stay at -1, because I do think we're going to pull. I like the idea of us rallying here over the next few days, and then into next week a bit of a pullback. But maybe we just go straight up from here. We'll see. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Enough talking. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Geez, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Just fun banter. No guarantees from the management. And, yeah, I suppose we don't have to worry about markets collapsing here just yet. I think we just went through the collapse. So I don't think you have to worry about big collapses going forward. But could we see another, few percent either up or down from here over the next little while? I think so. Okay. Any closing thoughts, Derek?
Nope. Have a great week.
Okay. Ben, any parting thoughts? How's the weather in Florida? Has it warmed up at all?
Not since the beginning of the show. No.
I just showed you. Ben's got like full on toque going.
Yeah, because I got nothing up on top.
Okay.
It just goes straight out.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Okay, so why don't we leave it at that? Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your assistance. Look forward to seeing Nick again next week. And just, I really enjoy the time spent with you, gentlemen, and I hope you've gotten some value out of hanging out with me. So have yourselves a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Look forward to Julian's baby powder report first thing tomorrow morning at TRI. Feel free to pop in and take advantage of the 30-day trial. Mine the site a little bit, and maybe even consider joining our education program to build your small business of trading. All right, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.